lovelies, welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you'll be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos and leave commentaries and also educate, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. All right, lovelies, let's dive in today's video.
The reason why the Europeans were able to conquer the Americas was because the Europeans slept with animals? No, I don't mean in that way. I wonder how these Spanish conquistadors conquered so much of South and Central America with hardly any people. Cortez took on the Aztecs with only 550 men. Pizarro went into South America with 168. They were victorious not because of the guns and the steel they brought with them, but because of the disease. Columbus landed on Guanajuato, the island next to ours, in 1502. He'd been so sick for weeks that he hadn't written in his logbook. Dropped anchor, the local population came out in canoes to greet him, not knowing that he was leaving them.
Now, that might not be new information for some people, but not only did they do this in the Americas, they also did this in the Pacific Islands, Australia, and of course, Africa. Like this article mentioned, since colonization, Africa has always been seen as a diseased and dirty place. As the colonization of Africa continued, more and more Africans saw an increase in famine and disease. Before the 19th century, most African states had mastered their environment and diseases were relatively under control. Like in the Americas, Africans had mastered farming and agricultural techniques for thousands of years that prevented famines and disease. And just like the cultural norms of the other indigenous populations around the world, Africa placed a great value on their environment and their animals. Like he mentioned in the previous video, wherever they went, devastation follows. And I don't think people understand the levels of devastation. But for example, in the 1880s, the Italian traders introduced the cattle disease rinderpest. Up to 90% of the cattle in parts of Central and Eastern Africa were killed by this disease. That included Tanzania, Kenya, Malawi, Zambia, and South Africa. From 1880 to 1890, it just took 10 years for them to destroy 90% of the cattle. The introduction of the slave trade brought disease as well, and not in the way that you think. Because of the introduction of the slave trade, specifically in East Africa, it produced new patterns of settlement. More people began to live in close proximity for security reasons, so they wouldn't be taken by slave traders. More people began living in close proximity, and previously inhabited areas became large forests that were a breeding ground for tsetse flies, especially in Central and Eastern Africa. Because of this, over 200,000 people died of sleeping sickness around the Lake Victoria area, just that area alone. When the disease spread to the Congo and to Zambia, it also did the same thing, killing hundreds of thousands of people. Now, European slave traders did bring diseases, but people tend to forget about the European settlers who drove it home. They brought smallpox, they brought jiggers that are sand flies that cause loss of limbs, cholera, meningitis, and yellow fever. Now, what the Europeans did in Africa as far as diseases could kind of be considered biological warfare, but it wasn't purposeful, so it can't be biological warfare, but there were deliberate attempts in an effort to colonize Africa that had devastating effects. The Germans killed about 80,000 people in Namibia, which broke down the agricultural methods and economic systems. This also happened in Ethiopia, Sudan, and Kenya, which in turn created famine in the 1880s and 1890s. Even though it was Europeans that brought diseases and famine, Africa, hunger, and disease all became the dominant stereotype in the European mindset, which reverberates to this day. I hope you learned something new.
So somehow everybody knows about the germs that wiped out the Native Americans, but they don't tell you about the bread, the beer, the cheese, the milk that wiped them out first. They don't tell you about the parasites that were passed once they started sharing space with the colonizers, or the parasites that were passed when they were bathed in the rivers that the natives drank from. But yet all they tell you about is that how some mysterious germs just started spreading onto the natives and killing them off. But the same foods that were killing them back then are killing you guys now. Yet it's been normalized to be a part of the American diet. And we don't even blink an eye.
America should not have had to fight for independence. Obviously, I'm glad we did, baby. 1776, America on top. The British are bad. But if the British were just a little bit less stubborn, then America would have remained a colony. The American Revolutionary War was fought over the whole no taxation without representation idea, essentially the idea that Americans should be able to choose their tax rates and they shouldn't have it forced upon them by the British. Actually, these taxes really weren't that bad on the Americans. Like, they weren't horrible taxes to where, you know, you'd be like, oh my god, I'm paying 50% of my paycheck to the king. That's crazy. And the only reason these taxes were a little bit bad was because of the French and Indian War, where Britain was trying to get money back for defending the colonies from the French and the Native Americans. Benjamin Franklin spent several years in London trying to convince the British government to just give them a little bit of parliamentary representation so they could decide their own affairs, and London was like, hell nah, fuck you guys. And if you read the Declaration of Independence, the complaints the Americans had to the British were pretty valid. You know, please don't put soldiers in my house, and please let me decide my own taxes. If the British had just treated the Americans as equals, there would have not been a war, and America would have remained a part of the British Empire and probably eventually absorbed into Canada. But the British are just so stubborn when it comes to colonies that they would rather lose the colony than give them any sort of rights. Anyways, thanks for watching. Follow for more.
I seriously love this is the way that they are actually the people that brought diseases, like the European actually brought diseases, and sometimes they turn it around to think that, or to make us feel that it was actually, African people that has these diseases, like the way they refer Africa as a place that is filled with pollutions, diseases, and all of that. But these people are actually the people that brought diseases to all this place. They brought these diseases even in, like, seriously, thank God for education, thank God for, all the things we are finding out and all of that. This is the reason why these people find it very, very comfortable to actually track down history, so that most of all these people, or most people like me exactly, will not even know what is actually happening. Like, seriously, like, every day new things being out there, every day we're learning new things, every day we're learning things that we are not even taught in schools. There are so many things that we are not even taught in schools that sometimes are like, why is it that the most important thing, which happens to be history, like to actually know the origin of where you come from, or the origin of why things are happening, why is it that this important thing are not being taught in school? But a lot of people give, excuses, especially these punk color people, like, okay, they do this because they don't want the children or whatever to feel so bad and all that. Even if you don't want to teach it in the, junior schools, why not, introduce histories in colleges and all of that, so that people can be aware what is it that you are hiding. There's no need of hiding most of all these things, because people are finding out. People are getting their knowledge by themselves. Even if you want to keep on, hiding things from these people, they will keep on finding it out. And when they find it out, they might even find it out in a way where they might not even understand. So that is why it is so vital and important for histories to be taught in their schools in order to avoid some kind of negative influence. But no, they want to just keep on hiding things until you keep on finding it out yourself, getting it out yourself. Do you know the rate at which, like, they cancel Africa, the poorest place, the most diseased place, and all of it? But these people are actually the people that took, diseases there at the cost of slave trade. They used the disease to wipe away the American. Like, seriously, I do not even understand the reason why we are just going back and forth on this. The most important thing right now is that we are finding out is that this thing that I thought that they can actually hide from us, or hide from the school, or try to make everything possible for us not to know our histories or histories of whatsoever thing that come in place. It's just something that cannot be hidden for a very long time. It only take a while. People will keep on finding stuff. Like when I come across this video, I was like, oh wow, this is one of the things that is supposed to be taught in schools. But because some people are hiding so many things, because of some people don't want so many things to be found out, they just keep on leaving it the way it is and allowing us to find it ourselves. There are a lot of people that want even, like seriously. Anyways, love this. Why don't you just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And don't forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment. We just here for historical purposes. So guys, I want to use this medium to actually thank my newest subscribers, to those people that actually share my videos, that leave commentaries, that educate myself. Like you guys, I actually learned a lot of things from your people. I learned a lot of things from the comments I read for the commentaries. And where I put up this, I also try as much as I can to educate myself, because we're all here to learn. Seriously. I also want to use the medium to thank my commenters, people that actually support this channel, people that the super chat and all of that, the gifters. Thank you so much. People that share these videos, thank you so much. You guys do not know how important it is to me. And I also want to use this video in case you want to actually an upcoming business and all of that. You could just reach me by email and I could just share or maybe put your business link and all of that in my description below, because it's time for us to actually start building our own wealth, build our own brands as well, because if we don't do that, no one is going to do that for us. So as to those that's trying to maybe reach me on Facebook and all of that, because I see a lot of people are reaching me on Facebook, please, if you can't reach me, just email me or maybe join my membership and all of that. So thank you so much for all the love and support. I cannot take all the love for granted. To those people that share this video, subscribe, and you guys are the real baby. Thank you so much. So please share this video if you've not done that. Subscribe to this channel if you've not done that. Leave me your own thoughts in the comment section, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.
Watch up to this extent. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. Don't forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational, informative purposes, guys. So please share this video, subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.